What's up, Neil?
Hey, Kel, how you doing today?
I'm very well. Very well. Thanks for joining us on Sunday, Neil.
Thanks for having me.
So I started us in with Billy Bragg, Way Over Yonder in the minor key,
Uh-huh.
Mermaid Avenue, Volume 1 with Wilco. Just saw him the other night. It was amazing. But you remember that song when it first came
Yeah,
out? We
absolutely.
saw Wilco and stuff. So
Mhm.
here we are, season 2, episode 25. We are in the home stretch. We'll have about 3 more after this, but really excited. We have some very special guests with us today. Um, in fact, I'm not even sure what to call you guys anymore. It seems changes from beginning to I think up until the 11th hour today. So thanks for joining us. I'm going to let you guys just go through and introduce yourselves because we got 4 of you there.
Okay. You want to go first, Matt?
Sure. Hi, I'm Matt. Nice to meet you. I'm the bass player of our collective musical unit here.
I'm Peter DiStefano.
Hi, Wendy Burke.
And I'm Ray Mazza.
And together you guys make up a new punk jazz band. Did you land on a name yet?
Yes, we actually landed on a name just today, actually.
About 4 hours ago.
Yeah.
Yeah, do you care to let us in?
So who wants to say the name?
Chvron Buffet.
Okay, because we didn't know how to. We didn't know
how to say it. I saw there was something over the so I didn't want to say it either.
totally butcher it.
So like Chvron Buffet.
It's Chvron Buffet.
Yes.
Nice, I like it.
It's very
Chevron
fancy.
Buffet. But if you're from the South, you call it Chevron Buffet.
Just
Okay.
depends on where you're from and how you say it.
That's right.
But-
I think us in Michigan, the Detroit area, probably might go for the second one.
Yeah.
Okay, so you
Get
want
a
to
little more
spell it?
accustomed.
Oh,
Okay, Wendy's going to spell it so you understand.
Chvron Buffet.
But the O has an what's it called?
AQ.
Yeah.
An AQ. It has that French.
Okay.
Okay, I was thinking tilde. I knew it wasn't a tilde.
There's a great story behind the name, though, how we landed on it. So Pete's been on a tour with Mike Baguetta now, this punk jazz tour he's been doing for about 3 months.
I've been following it.
Yeah, it was awesome. Part of the process, though, is eating at different gas stations along the way and having things like sardines on crackers with mustard and popcorn and Cheetos and stuff. So that's the Chevron Buffet.
That's hilarious because actually, me and Neil played soccer together like 30 years ago in college at University of Detroit Mercy. So we can kind of feel that. We used to drive all over in vans and you'd stop in these places, you get whatever you can.
Yeah.
Sometimes
Yeah.
a chicken sandwich is great, but you gotta eat.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
So I think
how
it's the
did you
best
guys
band
all-
name of all time.
Yeah, I love that. That's so
Yeah.
awesome. Like you fancy it up. It's like when people call it Target instead of Target, right?
Right. Exactly.
So how'd you guys all hook up here? I mean, I know you guys come from different bands and stuff, but you're based out of, I believe, what, Brooklyn area? Is that correct? Or
We're really spread out all over the place. So
Okay.
I'm in Long Island, New York.
I'm in New Jersey.
okay,
I'm from California.
that's what I thought.
Same
Okay,
LA area.
and
But
then,
yeah, we've all got together and really social media put us all together, right? As far as a few of us,
Yeah.
that's how we come to get to know each other over the years.
Sure.
nice. Awesome.
Matt and I go back to like 2009, 8.
Yeah, around that time.
Yeah.
Peter and I met over like Facebook and just kind of chatted.
No, there wasn't no Facebook back then. It was a chat board.
Oh, was it?
Jane's Addiction chat board.
Oh, was it?
Yes.
Oh God. See, I didn't remember. All right. But yeah, we started like connecting because, I thought I always admired and loved what he did, and he saw my bass playing and we just started a connection that way. And and we kept friends through the years, and then you met Ray, and like when?
We started talking like right when COVID hit, or on
Okay.
Instagram. And we're just going back and forth, and I liked his videos and started talking. I asked him if he wanted to start making some music together, and I was so surprised when he was like, yeah.
That's awesome.
And we've been doing it, it's now about 5 years, 4 years, something like that now.
Well, that's awesome. And us starting out, we've only been at this for like 18 months now. And, the one thing I've learned is you got to put yourself out there. You ask, you never know what you might get. Next thing you know, we got you guys on a show, which I never would have thought a year ago. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
Of course.
Absolutely.
and then like
I noticed you guys, it was pretty early on Instagram. I want to say you had like around 60 followers at that time.
Yeah.
And I remember seeing some of the videos in that. And actually, Ray, I saw your studio, which is that where you guys are now? Or
Yeah.
I always thought that's super cool. I love your studio.
Thank you.
Sounds awesome. But no, I just saw these videos and I'm like, wow, that's really cool. And actually, to be honest, I didn't even realize it was Peter that was playing with you at the beginning, because obviously I've been a fan of Peter's work. We both have, from Porno Pyros, which I will say we went to the farewell tour in Detroit, Peter. It was absolutely amazing.
Oh, thank you very much.
And
It was
we
a
were
nice
pretty much
farewell.
front row center, and being able to see all of you guys like at your craft just that close was really special to see. So I just want to say that.
Thank
And to be honest, I never had seen Mike Watt in concert, and to see him play that bass, I mean, he's a legend, right? So
Oh, yeah.
yeah, I just saw these videos and we started kind of connecting back and forth, and I threw it out there early about, hey, would you want to be on the show? And I think that's when I finally started talking to Wendy, and here we are. So like I said, I know it went through a few name iterations. You added a consonant there for a little bit, because you had a show all together, right? Was that in September?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was September.
our first show together was September 7th, I think it was.
Yeah,
That was
Brooklyn.
the first time
Yeah.
playing
Yeah.
together. Like the show was just like, let's try this out.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
How'd that go?
It was
Loved
awesome.
it.
It was an epic night. Yeah.
Yeah.
That's really cool. And that was what it was like was it Brooklyn Kitchen, or was that?
Yeah. The
Yeah.
Brooklyn Music Kitchen. Yeah.
Yeah, that's cool.
Yeah.
I really wanted to get to your guys' show last night that you're all are at, right? The kind of the big coming home per se, Peter, right after like 42 dates, I think. You
Mhm.
came
Yeah.
home, or came back to New York and you guys all played together. Is that pretty much? And I think Apollo's Ghost, right, is your other band, Ray, that was playing as well. So
Yeah.
I want to hear all about this. And I think Wendy, you also did something kind of special last night there. Was that-
Yeah, I did guest vocals with Mary Edwards, who opened up the night, and then I jumped, all of us, we jumped on a couple of songs with Pete and Mike at the end of their set. It was a really good night.
That's awesome. So the big tour with Mike, how did that come about too, Peter? I'm kind of all over the place here, but I was following that as I'm kind of following you guys playing in that. But how did you guys get that going? And I mean, I couldn't believe it. It was 42 days, and I missed you by one day in Orlando. You guys played the 19th. I showed up the 20th. But sometimes that's just the way the cookie crumbles. So I'd love to hear about that.
Well, Mike Watt has a band with Mike Baguetta called MSSV. And I went to their first tour when they did the stop in LA, and I watched them and I really enjoyed it. And then Mike Baguetta asked for my number from Watt, and he goes, I want to go up and play with Peter. So he came up I live in Camarillo, California, which is an hour north of LA. And we went to the Channel Islands college, where it used to be the mental ward, Camarillo mental ward, where they put Charlie Parker in there and gave him electric therapy, like shock therapy for his alcoholism to try to help him and his addiction. And so we went there and we set up a blanket. And we played for like 2 hours, just free form music, using all of the notes on the neck. And I was like, this was so wonderful. It was so great. Thank you. I had the best time ever. And then he came back up again a year later, and we went into a studio that I have in Westlake that Felix Presents has. And we jammed and filmed it. And then I said to him, I go, we should do 50 gigs in 50 days doing this dual thing, And I was kidding. But this guy takes everything that he hears, because he said, okay. And when he says, okay, he's a man of his word.
Sure.
Like, and then I was like, oh my God, he's actually doing it. And he does. Mike Watt is the whole reason we have our name. This band has our name because he does, these shows, and he eats at the gas stations and everything. So that's how it started. And we were doing it the Mike Watt style. So I've been sleeping on floors. I've been, doing the punk rock thing, because when I did my first tour, Perry picked me. And so it's always been Four Seasons hotels and two tour buses, 2 18-wheelers, And so for me to do it, like, sleeping at people's houses, eating whatever they feed me, sleeping on their floors, eating at gas stations on the way. It was the best tour of my life because it was human. It was real.
Sure.
And I was doing it for the love of music, not to service a lifestyle.
Right, absolutely. I love hearing that. And, that's one thing I kind of picked up on seeing when you guys play. It just seems like you guys have a lot of fun, together and doing that. Wow, that is quite a story. Yeah. And it's funny, I didn't realize that connection through Watt with everything. That's pretty neat.
Yeah.
So you actually yeah. So you made it through Michigan then on the tour then.
Yeah, that was like the first Detroit, right?
Yeah, that was the first one. Our first gig was Detroit, August 2nd.
Okay.
So we've been at it from August. So yeah, now it's been 3 months.
Yeah.
Wow. Where'd you guys play in Detroit?
At oh my God, I can't remember. There were so many gigs. I think it was yes.
Logger House.
Nice.
I sure do.
I don't know if you can see, Peter, but I have my St. Andrew's Hall shirt on. I believe you
Oh,
played
yeah,
there with
badass.
Pyros before in Detroit.
Cool.
I couldn't wear the Porno for Pyros shirt. I couldn't be that fanboy. I will say though, when you were here August 2nd, I was actually at Lollapalooza. Me and my wife went for all 4 days. And kind of funny story is, well, I went all 4, she went first and third. So I'm walking in the second day. I got my Porno for Pyros shirt on, and I'm walking through security, and the guy's laughing. And I'm looking around thinking he's laughing at someone else, but he was laughing at my shirt because he thought it was funny. He didn't realize it was a band shirt, because, he was probably like 18, 20 years old. And then so I, did a quick post on Instagram. Like, it was funny that they had no idea who Porno for Pyros was, but I'm at Lollapalooza that Perry founded.
Right.
Yeah.
And it was like 5 minutes later, he responded to my picture. It was like, that's some killer shit or something. He hope to see you inside. I'm like, all right. But I thought it was funny that a lot of people don't remember, or never got exposed to it. And that's why it was so cool that you guys did the farewell tour, because that was actually the first time I've seen you guys. Always listened, but never got a chance. And, so it was kind of like a good bucket list item for me and Neil, I know too, because it was both our first time.
I think that tour was great because it did open them up to a new generation. Like I had
absolutely.
brought my son, who's 18, to the show, and he had always only known them through me. And then when he got to see them, he was like, his mind was blown. Yeah.
The funny thing there is we actually have a connection there with our son's names.
Oh yeah,
Avery.
Right. My son's name is Avery. You have a son named Avery too, right?
Yep.
That's awesome.
And I always say that, they've tried taking it and making it a girl's name, but it'll always be a boy's name. Avery Johnson, the basketball player.
Right.
And then you brought it up, Eric Avery, right? The bass player.
Yeah, well,
Man, he's killer.
He's my hero. Yeah, so I kind of honored it.
Yeah, I was lucky enough to see him a couple of years ago, which was one of the only times I saw him a couple of years back when they opened for Smashing Pumpkins. Actually, that was a really good show.
Mm.
So one thing we do talk about is like, going to concerts, going to shows. Is that something you guys still enjoy doing, is going out there and seeing them, and what gets you going back doing that, and how's that experience kind of different, as being the musicians and seeing that side of it?
I mean, for me, there's a lot more energy and things that come up when you're doing the show yourself, that you got adrenaline, you're excited. But when I'm going to see a show, I'm more relaxed and more looking forward to seeing it. I'm not so concentrated on performing, or new songs we might have worked on, or especially us, every song's a new song.
Right.
We do it at the time.
Well, are you guys working on one to release or something soon, aren't you? Or
we just recorded one, and that's
Transformation.
Yeah. We did, yeah. And now tonight we're recording our second song at a studio once we're done with the podcast here. Once we're done talking to you guys.
That's awesome. Like I said, thanks for taking the time. I know you guys are getting together to practice right tonight and record some stuff. So that's cool.
We appreciate having us. Thank you.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah, for sure. Thank you.
We do it for the love of music. Like, me and Neil know nothing about music. Like, I just have always loved it. And I went to my first concert when I was 15. It was Aerosmith with Joe and Jett opening up at the Palace in Michigan here. And that was it. I was sold from then, and nonstop. And the beauty of this now is I'm going like 4 shows a month, and just having a blast with it with Neil, who, like I said, we've been buddies for 30 years, and now it's an excuse to hang out more.
Not too bad, yeah.
No, not bad for a grandpa of 2, right? Believe it or not. So what was the last show you guys went to as fans?
The last show I went to was actually the Porno for Pyros show.
Was it really?
Yeah. I'm going to the rival schools I'm going to check out next week.
Nice.
Which maybe it's this week. It's at Brooklyn Bowl. I'm very much looking forward to it because I'm a huge fan of Walter Schruffels. Everything he does is that's one of my biggest influences.
Okay.
Quicksand.
Yeah.
Right.
He would probably be in your forever 5, as we call it, right?
100%. Yeah.
100%.
But he's got 5 bands.
5 artists or bands. That's all you get. Their full catalog. Who would it be, right?
Yeah.
What about you other guys? Any shows that well, Peter, I don't know about you. You seem pretty busy. Probably last thing you want to do is go to a concert when you're on the road.
Peter's got one.
I have a show. So after the tour ended, the Mike Bigetta, Peter DiStefano tour, I went and saw a band called Apollo's Ghost.
Yes.
Yeah.
So that's my last concert. It was last night after the tour ended.
That was the first time I saw
this
them, too.
band,
Yeah,
Peter,
awesome.
that really got you excited about them.
Yeah.
That was a great show last night. I mean, I've been hitting a few of the punk jazz tours, like the shows along the way. So those have been my last several.
Okay.
Yeah, just been sort of, aside from performing, kind of dipping in and out different shows.
That's awesome. I tell you that I got to see them for the first time last night through the whole tour because I didn't see any other shows, and I was blown away.
Yeah.
Both of them together on stage, it was crazy energy.
Right.
Yeah, I like just seeing what everything that's posted on the social media and everything, check it out. It's one of those things where you really wish you were in the room, Doesn't matter if you're close in the very back, wherever, just want to be in the room to see something, witness that, right? The magic happen, as they say.
Sure.
Yeah, it was incredible with like how 2 atonal guitars, and it just made like such a beautiful harmony like between the both of them. It was very powerful.
Yeah.
It was very cool. Yeah. No, it was great. It was great.
So back to Apollo's Ghost, right?
Yep.
How long have you been going with that band and everything?
We're 8 years now.
Okay.
We have 4 albums that are out, and we have one more that we're recording in a couple months from now.
Nice. Yeah, I did actually check out some stuff on Spotify that's out there, and everything that you can, right? That's out there. So pretty cool stuff, and all instrumental, correct?
Yeah, we started looking for singers, and we started writing in the process, and then we just realized we'd rather not have a vocalist.
Smartest thing I've ever heard.
And that's how we get along for 8 years without a problem.
Right?
Yeah, absolutely.
I almost last night when I was watching them, I've never done it before in my life, and I don't think I ever will. But I jumped up on stage and hugged their guitar player. Then because I love him so much and the sound he was doing. And then I almost jumped up on stage and wanted to pretend I was Steven Tyler, the lead singer of their band, but I didn't do it. I don't sing
Would've
like
been
Steven
fine.
Tyler.
That's awesome. No, it's funny because me and Neil went and saw Billy Strings about a week and a half ago. And I had never seen him live before, obviously big bluegrass and everything, but a lot of his songs were all instrumental, and it's amazing. You almost just get lost in it,
Yeah.
And when I talked about not being like a huge music person, for me, the singer it's always just like another instrument. It's like I don't even really hear a lot of the lyrics or anything. I just hear that interweaving with everything else, and that's what kind of keeps me going with it. I just don't have the memory to remember everything, and I sure as heck don't have the voice or tones to try to sing anything. I embarrassed myself in like elementary school music class. I don't even
Well, I learned how to read and write music on this tour. Mike Baguetta taught me. So
I saw that. And so you also then did that lead to the concerto?
Yeah, that was the whole thing was I wrote I had written. No one told me that what I was writing wasn't concertos. So I was like, concertos. And then he thought it was so cute that he was making me call them concertos. Then by the time I got to my 12th concerto, a colleague of mine who's a doctor in music told me that what you're writing is a melody, like a doodle. And then a concerto is an instrument that is featured. Like if it's a piano concerto, you write everything that piano could possibly do, and you put an orchestral arrangement around that, and that's a concerto. So then when I knew what the truth was, it was like someone told me there is no Santa Claus,
Right?
So I was like, I stopped. It got to 12, and so I'll never write a concerto again. It's not a real concerto. But I thought there were real concertos. I went and got my keyboard producer scarf, and I was like really like stuck up, And then my colleague, who is a real doctor of music and a very powerful real composer who writes real concertos, told me, you're writing doodles, bro. Like, oh my God.
And then Wendy, you did the vocal impression of Concerto Number 12 last night, right?
Yeah, my opinion differs from his colleague. I think that the inspiration that, with what he calls doodles, I see it differently. I'm a classically trained pianist, so I found a lot of inspiration from that. I'm the owner of the last one of the series, and I just did it because it's a beautiful melody, and to show that that can be a big classical piece. It's the start of a classical piece, so it's that's my firm opinion on the matter.
In Wendy's defense, Mike Baguetta, who is an award-winning jazz guitar player who taught me to read, said Wendy's arrangement made your number 12 a concerto.
Nice
Arrangement, and showed what that doodle could be done with an orchestral vocal arrangement. So it was huge.
Yeah.
And then there was another guy, Sean Manroland, who bought 2 of them and then used both of the melodies to make what Bagetta also called a concerto, because he arranged instruments around these melodies.
Yeah.
Gotcha.
So,
Okay.
I think it's
Wendy made it an official concerto.
Yeah, Wendy.
Together we made it.
No, you know, I think it's really brave for someone that's so advanced in their career to strip everything away and become a beginner's mind again. You know, that's not easy to do when you've been
Right.
like a professional musician for so long. To strip away everything you know is so almost impossible.
Mm.
And then and the humility that it takes, you know, like to be like, okay, and to just listen and to learn it. So I'm not one to put down a learner's journey, you know, and when I was humming that melody in my head, reading what he wrote and hearing it in my head, you know, it was beautiful. And this is a concerto to me, you know, it just needs to be longer, you know, but it is a piece of a concerto. So I started just kind of humming it, and the recording's terrible. I recorded on my phone. I was like literally laying
I don't think
halfway
so.
asleep, you know, and that was that. But I was just like, you know, no, it's beautiful, and it is a concerto. So
No, yeah, me and Neil were watching it earlier before we started it. I really loved it. You know, that kind of goes back to exactly what I was saying. The voice just becomes an instrument.
yeah,
You know, so
absolutely.
whether there's words or not, it was absolutely. I thought it was beautiful.
Thank you.
Yeah,
Some
I
of the
think-
most fun I have is when I'm just vocalizing and making sounds. Sometimes, you know, I do some darker stuff where I'm like almost growling and I like using my voice, you know, like breathing. You know, it's all part of the art.
Absolutely,
For sure.
and
That song we recorded, she sang through a piano, through a microphone, through the
And
piano.
I have my hand on
Yeah.
the piano.
oh, nice,
Yeah.
almost like the old tube with the guitar thing. What is
Mhm.
that called?
Oh yeah, talk box.
Yeah.
Peter
Peter Frampton's
Frampton made
talk
it famous, right?
Yeah.
So that kind of brings up another question we had was, you know, you talked about you came up with your doodle, Peter, you know, Wendy, you put, you know, your kind of touch on it. Like when you guys get into the studio, like today after we're done here, how does that look? How do you create music together? Or what does that process look like?
Well, it differs. The last time we went into the studio, we had a song that we worked on together, and we was packaged by the point we got to the studio. This time around, we literally wrote that song on stage in that Instagram post. So when we were at Brooklyn Music Kitchen, and that's the last time we ever played that song together.
Mhm.
And that was improvised. It was
Oh, wow.
completely improvised. Yeah.
So tonight, going in there, we're gonna have to look at it in a very different way than the last recording, because we're gonna have to revisit what we did in September to get cracking on, you know. But it's every time it varies, and I think that's what brings the fun and the energy to what we do, because we never know where we're going next half the
Mhm.
time, and
Yeah.
we go on danger jams, we call it.
Yeah. The
So do you think
unpredictability of it is what keeps it very interesting for me personally. Just like it's very invigorating when you don't know really what's around
Right.
the corner. And I think that actually heightens everybody's musical sense, you know, and I think we're all pretty seasoned in what we do, so it works really well because we're able to kind of almost like read off each other
Right.
in a sense.
Gotcha.
Kind of like, you know, basically like a jam band, right? You might just go off and you kind of just pick up on what
Well,
everyone's doing.
I wouldn't call it a jam band. It's more of like
Well,
I'm 27 years sober, and when I used to smoke crack, it would give me such anxiety, and I got addicted to the anxiety that the only way I can recapture that is by danger jams. It's
Okay.
your anxiety because you don't have a plan.
okay.
Right.
So it's like free crack.
Free.
We'll use that as a PSA.
right.
But if you want to
You
call it
discovered
a jam
crack.
band, I call it a jam band. I call it the crack band. Free crack band.
No, I mean, that's one thing I've liked about, you know, concerts where you go to it and sometimes they go off and, you know, a little different direction for a while, come back. That's just always kind of how I've been, you know. But there's also been some shows that have been very structured and have been amazing as well. So one thing we talk about is, our Forever Five. And I know there's a lot of you there. I'm just wondering, like some of the bands that you kind of either grew up listening to that were so impactful that to this day, you still throw on, or whether it's albums or Spotify or whatever it is. What are some of those bands that you remember or still, or seeing them live, stuff like that? I'm just really interested in always getting other people's perspective. If guess, especially, people like yourselves who are pretty well seasoned musicians here.
You guys want to take a crack at this first? Or?
Yeah, I mean, bands that were really, really influential to me that I can listen to on repeat to this day, or artists: Prince, Oingo Boingo, Queen, Pink Floyd, and Orbital.
Okay.
Cool.
Nice Forever Five.
Yeah, I was gonna say that's a solid five.
Ryan in there.
I'd say Cursive, Quicksand, Spoon, Bad Brains,
Mm.
absolutely Led Zeppelin, and I'm still gonna go with Jane's Addiction.
There you go.
Ain't nothing wrong with that.
Oh gosh, Jesus, that's a tough one. Fugazi for sure. I was also very, very much not a student of jazz, but I always admired bebop jazz. So I was always very enamored with Charlie Parker, and listened to him quite a bit. Definitely Jane's Addiction, definitely the Red Hot Chili Peppers, and Public Enemy, because I love hip hop as well. So
Absolutely. I love like 80s to early 90s hip hop, especially like Eric B. Rakim, EPMD.
absolutely, yeah, EPMD.
Mostly,
Oh my God.
Beasties and Run DMC.
Yeah,
They
yeah.
are immortalized in our studio. All
Oh,
right,
is he
Peter, what do
really?
you got?
Yeah, EMD's from Bayshore.
No shit.
Excuse me?
I was just wondering who your
Yeah.
top five or
Okay, you ready?
yeah,
You ready?
Leonard Skinner.
nice.
Mm-hmm.
That's it.
Takes all five, I think.
Leonard Skinner. Leonard Skinner and Leonard Skinner.
That's five.
I got it written down here 5 times. So were they really influential for you then?
The only band that matters is Leonard Skinner.
Gotcha. All right.
Because I'm a whiskey rock and roller. That's what I am. Women, whiskey, and miles of traveling. That's my
I have never seen Skinner live. They were actually just in Detroit, but obviously just a shell of the old band at this point, right?
Yeah.
So what's next for you guys? You got any like dates planned or coming up, or
We're going to record here tomorrow night a live show that we're going to be putting out and broadcasting. So
nice.
we'll have that soon. And as far as dates, I think our next one's going to be we're shooting for a Los Angeles date, I think, in
Sometime
January.
after the holiday. Yeah.
Oh wow, cool.
Oh.
All right.
Yeah, in January, I guess you can't beat that.
Sorry about that.
No, it's okay.
We should have brought that up.
See what I'm talking about? The unpredictability of everything.
Yes, of course.
It's really
Actually-
just so cool. Like I don't even know what's going on. So it's
No, you know what is actually funny
Right,
because I know that I had gone back and forth with emails and stuff with Wendy and Ray, and I forget. Oh, actually, as Matt, I'm like, I had to ask you, like, if you had any family in the Michigan area because your last name. I'd never heard it before in my life, and you're like, actually, it's a very common Italian name or whatever. But
I
and
know,
then we
I know
started-
actually. Yeah.
and then we started talking, and I'm like, yeah, we're gonna talk to you on the 13th, and he's like, What do you mean?
Oh yeah, yeah, that was funny because he was talking me through Instagram, and he was like,
Yeah.
"Yeah, we're going to talk to you guys," and I'm like, "Oh, okay."
That's news to me.
cool. All right, great.
And I'm like, it's all right.
So you just witnessed it. You witnessed it firsthand in social media, and then you just saw it. Yeah. But I like it though. I like being in the dark. It's fine.
Yeah. Well, that's what I said. It's all right. I'm usually less to know my family too. You know? Oh, wait, I'm going where today?
Right.
But in all honesty, there's nothing booked yet. It's just an idea.
Yeah,
Oh, I would love to learn more about that idea because LA in about January or so sounds like a blast.
yeah, we're looking into like sort of where and all that, but
Cool.
more will be firmed up as we go along. We were just getting through the tour and
Absolutely.
kind of focusing on one thing at a time, but now we can kick into gear as sort of the next steps.
Yeah, that's awesome. I'm really looking forward to seeing more from you guys for sure, and what comes out.
I have
out
a
of this next
question for
session.
you guys.
Yeah.
Okay. So Chevron Buffet
Mhm.
or free crack?
So this is what I think. I think both great ideas. I think free crack's gonna get you like the immediate buzz, but I think Chevron Buffet has more longevity and a greater story to tell.
You might be able to get free crack at a Chevron, though. I don't know.
Great answer. Great
Italian
answer.
sub, a Mountain Dew, and some crack out of the Chevron Buffet. That's awesome. Well, I can't thank you guys enough for joining us today. We've had a blast. I hope you guys did too. I know you guys
Yeah,
are
we did.
in the studio tonight.
Yeah.
Really appreciate it.
And like I said, I can't wait to see what comes out of this next couple of days. You said you're going to post it, right? So we'll definitely check it out, and we'll stay in touch. Hope we'll see you in LA in January. All right, thanks a lot, guys. Appreciate it.
Take care.
Thank you so
Bye.
much.
All right.